Hey, what's up? This is Mark Lopes from Metal Church and Ross the Boss Band, and you are watching CMS TV. And all you people out there, keep it fucking metal.
It is your classic metal show right here on the classicmetalshow.com. Kicking off the show tonight, we heard Metal Church with Fake Healer with guest vocalist Todd Latore on the shared vocal there. And we just heard Hellstar with Baptized in Blood, and a guy who has been baptized in blood, literally, my good friend and partner, Chris Aiken. What's going on there, Chris?
What is up, sir? How we doing?
I'm well. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I just woke up like 15 minutes ago. What are we at? 9:16? So yeah, 16 minutes ago.
All right.
Ready to go.
Yeah, I did do a little bit of lounging around today, and I got out earlier this morning, and then I got back, and I was just like, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to be productive, or do I just want to lay around and be a slug? And I thought, laying around and being a slug sounds pretty good.
Exactly, dude.
That's what I did. I literally did not get home from the job last night until almost 10 o'clock.
Oof, yeah, no thanks.
I had a big project that needed to get loaded out last night, and the truckers didn't show up until about 7.
Oof.
And by the time we got them loaded, and they got the tarps thrown and on the flatbed and cinched down and all that good stuff, it was like 9 o'clock, and it was about an hour ride home. So by the time I got home, it was Jack and Coke in bed for me.
Not that you had any big plans, but is there anything worse than having to stay late on a Friday?
Well, no, but this was a very, very, very expensive job.
Right.
And this will be a very lucrative thing for me. So I'll dedicate 4 additional hours on a Friday to to collect that mad money.
Yeah, to make cash.
To make that coin.
Got to pay for the StreamYard somehow, right?
Exactly. You got to pay for that new Camaro somehow.
That's right. This is your funny money for that, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So it was a late night. It's been a bust ass week all week. This project that I was working on is a 3-container building.
Okay.
It left for Boston yesterday, so shipping over to the East Coast, and it was quite an undertaking. So this week was nothing but hustle to make that Friday deadline.
Yeah.
So just trying to tie up the loose ends and make sure all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted, and that there was nothing left behind, and there was no details left undone. And I think we're pretty yes, my new Camaro is black.
Of course. What color do you think he's gonna get? Red, blue?
It's black on black.
Pink, green, come on.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So but the interior is very much like the seat that I'm sitting in.
Race car seat.
It's got black with red highlighter, red,
okay.
Red interior. My current Camaro is black on gray on black. So I thought,
right.
You know what? I'm going to spice it up just a little bit. Going to go with the red accents on the interior, since it is the last year that they're making, and this is it. This is the last roundup, so I'm going to get what I want.
Yeah, might as well, dude. Hell yeah, and you got the money to do it, so why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
And by having the money, I mean all that mad money from the locals.
From the locals page. Thank you for your $5 a month to pay for my new ride.
Yeah, it bought Neeley a Camaro. Thanks.
Yeah, brand new Camaro. So thanks for all your shekels going in my pocket to enrich myself.
That's right. And if you believe we're making $60,000 off of that, you are stupid.
I see the homeless sleeping on the cold, dark streets, like bodies in an open grave.
That's right. Oh, man. Too funny. But yeah, I'm with you on the work, though, this week. This week has just been pummeling, man. 17, 18, 19, 20 hours every single day. Dude, last night, so Johnny Gioeli left for Norway. He's in Norway right now.
What? He's on tour again?
Again, he's on tour until
What?
the 28th or 29th
He's out
or
there
something.
earning a living doing what he does?
Yeah, of course. But I had texted him, like the time difference is about 6 hours.
Sure.
So I had texted him at what I thought was late, but not overly late, because we're both in agreement that we have to work some odd hours to communicate right now.
Right, absolutely.
And we're right at the critical part where we're bringing in people, and there's a lot of critical stuff going on. I won't get into the whole thing, but there's a lot of critical stuff where me and him do have to communicate. So I needed like a 5-minute conversation with him. So I texted him at 6:30 my time, which would have been 12:30 his time. Late, yes, but I figured he had a gig. It would end at 11. By the time he got out of there, that would be right before he fucking calls it a day, right?
You would think.
You would think. And that was my goal, was 5-minute phone call. I just had like 2 quick questions I needed answered. He didn't get the text, or he didn't see the text until he woke up, which would have been my time. I think it was 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So he hits me back and said, just saw this. Hit me back when you wake up. Well, of course I woke up to the text. The text woke me up.
Bing.
So then we had a conversation this morning from 4 until, this 5-minute conversation ended up lasting like an hour and a half.
Sure.
So then I'm up till 5:30. So then I'm just like, fuck it. Let's just roll. And I rolled today until like about 5 and then took a nap. I'm like, I'm going too many miles an hour at this point, man.
I get you.
But got to. It's a new business. You gotta put it in. You gotta put the time in, or else it'll fail.
Yeah. Well, as my dad would say, son, you got to get out there and make hay while the sun shines. Mm-hmm. So if the sun shines at 3:30 in the morning, that's when you got to go make hay.
Yeah. And part of this deal is that he's going to be on tour sometimes. He is a rock star.
Yeah.
So he has to, he makes his money that way. And I make my money different ways, sure. I guess. But yeah, everything's just busy. So busy. So many meetings this week. So many conversations with band guys and, blah, blah, blah. Just long week.
You have your people call my people, and we'll set up a lunch. It'll be a virtual lunch, but,
Well, it'd be like a virtual dinner to a virtual breakfast.
Exactly. Well, I enjoyed having Johnny on the show a few weeks ago. Did he like being on the show? Or?
Oh, yeah. He loved it.
Yeah.
He loved just hanging out, and, he loves talking about, music stuff, his own music, instead of, well, let's do dollars and cents.
Right, of course.
Yeah, he had a good time.
Yeah, that's good. I enjoyed talking to him after all these years.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Yeah, that way.
The only thing crazy about him, he's got that same ridiculous psychopathic work ethic that I do.
Why is that? Is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, but boy, is it I've never worked with somebody that runs with me this hard.
Right.
And it's definitely weird. It's definitely weird that when I'm ready to go at 2 a.m, somebody else is there going, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
I've never had that ever. So it is an adjustment for me, but I like it.
All right. Come on, Chris, let's get our game faces on.
Yeah.
Time to do battle.
Exactly. There's nobody saying, hey man, why don't you take a nap?
All right. Yeah, I get you.
But all good, man. So not complaining.
Right. Well, I'd rather be busy than have nothing to do at all.
Amen.
Give me something to do, or give me something to look forward to anyway. I mean, some days it just grinds you down, as Lemmy would say, but don't let the bastards grind you down.
Absolutely not. But yeah, all good, man. And and still got all my CMS stuff done, and got all my Chris Aiken Presents shit done, and you know, everything's done. So it's like, all right, I'm adjusting.
Sure. So you did all your 15 shows this week too? I did the 2 Seths and the Chris Aiken Presents. Almost everybody liked the Chris Aiken Presents, the Sugar Smack character that Eric has created. Okay. Everybody likes the fact that I'm willing to eat just this horrible horseshit food that Eric has sent me. Everybody but one. Well, speaking of that, did you ever get your bugs, your candied bugs or anything?
I never got that from the guy from this show that was going to send it.
Yeah, he was going to send you like candied bugs or something.
Yeah, some kind of like caramel coated grasshoppers or some shit.
Scorpions or some shit.
Yeah, it was something, and it never came to be. So, but that's all right because Sugar Smack takes care of me with. I have to do riddles for Sugar Smack, and if I don't get them this week, I had to eat candy Sasquatch poop, which, boy, that was lovely.
and what is it really?
It's I guess it's cotton candy.
Okay.
But it was disgusting.
It's a lot of sugar, man.
Which, you know me, I'm not a sugar guy. I'm the one fat guy that doesn't eat a lot of sugar. Sure. But I took just a little bite of it, and I was ready to throw up, and I couldn't even with coffee and my reward shit, I couldn't wash it out of my mouth. It was so gross. And here's the weirdest thing, and this will just tell you how disgusting this is. I can't believe people would put this whole thing in their system. And this is me, the most reckless fuck ever, saying this. So,
right.
I left it sit on like here in front of me on the desk while we were doing the show. And by the end of the show, it had turned from like a tan color to like a really dark brown, and had gotten rock hard. But this is within an hour. Okay. Just from an hour of having air hit it.
It's like an apple spoiling, right?
Except at an accelerated rate.
Yeah. But it turns brown. It's like an apple spoiling.
Yeah, it was really, really, really gross. And I just looked at it, I was like, man, there's people eating that shit.
And what is the purpose of eating that?
I don't know.
Is it just a sugar rush? Is it just people who are just like addicted to sugar or what?
I don't know. I can't imagine what would make anybody buy Sasquatch poop and eat it. I can't imagine how that works, but Eric found it at some store. And see, here we go. Of course, Jim Jackal hates that bit. I'm not even going to post it. He posted in Rumble. Sugar Smack is dumb. Okay.
Well, it's a dumb show. It's a goofy take on two dudes just doing goofy shit.
Yeah, it's something different.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the CMS on that show and on Seth and everything else. Each show has its own flavor.
Exactly. It's like, well, who else is eating Sasquatch poop on a show?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Who else is doing that, Jim?
Exactly.
Who else was talking about that?
Maybe we should just spend more time talking about Richie Blackmore instead. Of course, yeah. That would make it better.
Richie Blackmore all the time.
All day. Let's talk about the 400 versions of fucking Live in Japan from Deep Purple. Let's do that every episode.
Right.
Shut it, Jim.
You gotta, you know what? People, and again, after you've been doing it as long as we have, we've been doing it 30 years almost.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But regardless of that, we have to come up with new shit every single week.
Yeah.
Every single week. Last week doesn't matter. What we did last week, no matter how great or brilliant or how much it sucked, the show was. This week's a new week. We have to come up with all new shit.
Yeah.
And especially you got to come up with new shit times 3.
Every other day I gotta have a couple of hours of new stuff.
Yeah, but you tune in, you listen.
That's right.
You think it's just easy just to come up with new shit every single week?
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, we don't plan a lot, but at least we keep it flowing, and it's something that you maybe remember or get a chuckle out of. I mean, we bring you the ha-has.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what this show is all about, and that's what Chris does on most of his other stuff too, is try to bring you a couple of chuckles in the week, and forget about your problems or your troubles, or you know, at least kind of give you a little bright spot, little entertainment. That's
exactly. Except the Seth show. Except the Seth show is way serious.
Yeah, well, the show is still entertaining for people who enjoy that type of content.
At some point, I got to find a way, and I don't know how we'll do it, but I got to find a way to have you host that with Seth one week.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the time is going to be the real problem because it's 3 to 5 your time, but
yeah, well, maybe I'll take a day off one day then and do that.
You and him, with you guys' kind of like-minded politics, would be fucking golden.
You think so?
I do think so.
You think two guys agreeing on everything would be the best type of show?
I don't think I think you guys might agree in principle, but I think you're harder edged than him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which I think would be really entertaining. Like for me, you know me, I'm kind of in the middle. I lean right, I guess, but I'm cool with killing babies too. So whatever that is, you know, I guess that's libertarian, you know, but, you know, you two, it's fun because Seth gets annoyed because I don't agree.
Yeah, well, because you don't stroke his desire,
his point,
and you're just like, well, you know, I don't really have a thought on that one way or the other. It's just, hey, to each their own. You do you there, Pally.
Exactly, but I think it would be fun to hear you two just kind of, because you pay a lot more attention. You know me. That's the other part that's hard for me with the Seth show. I don't pay any attention. You know, it's not like when we had this issue 1 thing here, which went on for a couple of weeks, when he first brought it up on the show, and this is like a week away from the election, I had no idea. I was like, I haven't read about it. I don't know about it. I'll read about it the day before I go to vote.
Right.
That's what I did, really. I mean, I read about it a little early because we had guests that were going to talk about it, but if we didn't have those guests, I would have not known probably until the day before I went to the polls.
Well, you know what the thing is that sometimes that's a good thing to come at it with a blank slate rather than have a preconceived notion or at least because, and this is how I look at it, that if you get a guest on that has this point of view or is trying to make a point of something and you don't know anything about it, you're intelligent enough and quick enough to spur a lot of different questions about it.
Sure.
You don't already have a preconceived notion as to what they're talking about or agree or disagree. Well, tell me about that. What about that? What is that? Because you honestly don't know.
Yeah. And that helps.
So educate me on this, you know, tell me what you know. And instead of allowing someone who already has some already has an idea, will either bolster their point or will argue against it to where you can ask a lot of questions and not really have an opinion, but enough to make them to expose them for what their point is.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I do on that show because we've had a few guests the last couple of weeks. We've had several guests that are like the expert of this or the spokesperson for some parenthood women's group and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know anything about anything that you're talking about. I'll play nice. I'll play along. I won't be like, you're a fucking communist or nothing like that. But I will absolutely just be like, all right, well, why don't you explain this to me? Because I don't get it.
Yeah. Tell me what you know. I mean, convince me because I honestly don't have a viewpoint on this.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's actually a plus.
Yeah, I mean, it works. It works, but yeah, but going back to your original point, yeah, we have to come up with new stuff every week. And not only that, we also have to answer for every goddamn word we say every week. So I thought, and I don't know what you thought, but I'm seeing it in the chat as well, that the best segment last week was the KK versus Judas Priest.
Okay, fair enough.
That was my personal takeaway. Had a lot of feedback from a lot of people on it. And of course, anything we say, we get messages on. So you know who messaged me to correct me? Tim Ripper Owens.
Oh, did he? He listened to the segment?
He did.
Okay.
He did listen to it.
All right. That's
and he I'll put it up on the screen here.
All right. Fair enough.
He threw me an X message or a Twitter message.
Okay.
to tell me that I was wrong about him being a half step down, or the band being a half step down. By the way, Chris, it's the same tuning, E flat.
All right.
I just enjoy singing the song closer to how it was written. Not sure I have an option, haha. I do wish the sound was better on my version, but it was a faraway cell phone. So,
okay.
You know, so not hammering. And
but at least he listened and he kind of took it in the spirit. We discussed it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think overall we thought that the KK version was better.
And that was my answer back to him. I said, hey, we did name you the winner.
Yeah, we thought it was a ballsier sounding version.
Yeah. So yeah, but it is funny. It's like you never know with this show. You never know who you're going to hear from.
Right, of course.
You constantly hear, you know, no matter what we say, somebody has something to say about it, and including the artists.
Right, of course.
Which is fine with me. I love it.
But that's the whole thing about the interaction and the community of a publicly broadcast show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you know, everybody's got their take. I mean, our take isn't right. It's just our opinion.
It's our opinion.
Just opinion. You know, I don't have to. You don't have to agree with me or Chris or anything we say. I mean, it does spur conversation though.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I hate these guys are assholes, or I completely agree with everything they said, or you know, whatever your take is, that's your opinion.
Yeah. All right. Somebody put in the chat over here, going back to the Seth thing. I know we're all over the place, but I'm trying to follow.
Who was it? I was explaining how this show works. That our first hour of the show is our warm up shot. You know, it's our warm up shot before we go into the competition. You know,
that's right, exactly right. So here you go. This is from the Rumble chat. Neeley needs to get with Seth to spice it up. Neeley will be cool. Will be the cool-headed perspective to Seth's neurotic, paranoid take on various issues. That is very true.
All right.
Chris is still too much anarchy for Seth. That also is very true.
All right. Fair enough.
And that really is how that works out. Is I know sometimes I say some of my crazy shit and Seth's like, ooh. You know.
Well, that's the whole idea of having a guy to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't just have the same level of energy, the same viewpoint, it would be boring.
Yeah, I agree.
Remember that show that O&A used to goof on as the Two Johns show?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember that, you know, we're two guys who think this, we're two guys who think that, you know, and it's just boring.
Boring as I agree. It needs to be different. I think that's what works here with me and you. Almost the same exact thing that this guy just said about me and Seth is you're level-headed and I'm a fucking rabble-rouser.
But I'm not emotional about anything.
No, you're level-headed.
It's not a emotional thing for me. Yeah. It's just, you know, I just see it. I just call it as I see it.
You analyze stuff where I might start a segment with, well, fuck those guys. And by the end of the segment, I'll be like, you know what? They were doing something pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, because I adapt on the fly.
Yeah. Well, they might have a point, but again, this is where it works not to have an opinion all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't already know something or have a preconceived notion about something, you're willing to learn about it and, you know, make up your mind to go, you know, there might be something to that. I wasn't aware of it before. I am now. I might take that into consideration.
Exactly. So, by the way, speaking of Rumble, I want to welcome our Rumblers. We have a bunch. We have a bunch of people already on Rumble.
We've been doing real well. You reported some numbers to me via the Rumble, and so welcome, Rumblers.
Yeah, we love the Rumblers. I did have a question in the Rumble chat before we even got started about when do we start, and I guess we haven't had to do this in a long time because we've really had kind of a core audience for a long time.
Right.
But now that we're finding new people, I guess we have to explain. This is a radio show / TV show.
Right.
But of course, as you guys all know that watch video, you can't really play 10, 15, 20 minutes of music in a row without getting it shut down for DMCA copyright bullshit. So if you want to follow along for the entirety of the show, when we go off the video for the 10, 15, 20 minutes, we are still playing music over at cmsradio.net. So,
and the reason we can do that is because the licensing is paid over there.
Right, because we pay the licensing for the music, but the video licensing is ridiculous, so we're not doing that.
So, yeah.
But that's how it works.
Yeah, so you'll have to have 2 apps going. If you want to listen to the music, you'll have to listen to the music on the CMS app. But if you want to watch the video, you just do what you're doing now and watch it on Rumble.
That is correct. Or wherever else you're watching it. We're on so many stupid platforms now.
But we're speaking to the Rumblers.
Yes, we are. So, so we so much appreciate that you guys are watching on Rumble. We're super glad to not be on fucking communist YouTube anymore. I love that.
Yep.
So, so welcome. And that's how the show works.
Peoples. Yeah, we're all behind Rumble as long as they stay what they are today.
That's right.
They don't change for money. And I was actually having that discussion yesterday with somebody who is new to the show.
Okay.
And explaining that we're a free form format, and we have opinions that the YouTube would not approve of.
Yeah, of course.
And the reason why we moved off of YouTube live because of getting shut down all the time and other stuff. So as long as Rumble doesn't sell out and get too big for their own good or make money the only priority, and they support free speech like they do currently, I will be glad to support Rumble all the time.
Exactly. And if they do change, we're always on Odyssey and Minds and and everywhere else. So.
So anyway, so for those of you who watch us on the various platforms, welcome to the show. Well,
that's right.
Well,
hello.
Right.
Hello, peeps.
Well, speaking of free speech and somebody who can't be canceled or shut down.
Yeah.
I ventured out to see Uncle Ted Nugent on Monday.
Right.
Me and the lovely Taylor headed out to the Arcata Theater in St. Charles, Illinois, Monday evening. I want to thank our good friend Frank Tronowski for hooking us up, who was being tour managing for Nugent, and now he is now out with Extreme.
Okay.
So this guy, like you, like myself, always working.
Right.
One tour he doesn't even get a break. He goes, well, I'm leaving the Nugent tour on Monday. I'm joining the Extreme tour on Tuesday.
Right.
Just that quick. And so Frank hooked us up. We went and saw the show. And boy, I'll tell you what, Uncle Ted, not surprising from him what he has to say.
Sure.
But he was just like, I guess he sold the place out 2 nights in a row, which it's about 1,000-seater.
Okay.
And so he was basically going, everybody here who's here to see me tonight, you're true Americans. You understand what I'm about. You know what I'm about. He goes, that guy, that mayor over there in that city of Chicago, that's not your mayor. That guy, he's the mayor of the Planet of the Apes.
Jesus. Fucking Ted.
And he goes, that fat fuck downstate Prickster is what he called him. His name is Pritzker, but
okay.
He called him Prickster. He goes, let me ask you something. If there's any law enforcement here, how come you're not going down there to arrest him? Isn't his sworn duty to uphold the Constitution? That guy wants to put a kibosh on your Second Amendment rights because he's limiting the purchases of, like AR-15s and things like that.
Right.
Because he's infringing on your Second Amendment rights. That's not upholding the Constitution as it's written. Why isn't he being arrested? He was just going on to a tear about that.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was. Boy, he had he and his political ranting and stuff. But it's just funny, but still entertaining at 75 years old. One of the things he said, there was a kid in the front row.
Yeah.
I don't know how old the kid was. I couldn't quite tell, but he must have been a young person. And he kind of come to the edge of the stage. He goes, hey there, young man, is your parole officer here today? he goes, let me give you some advice. He says, 75 years. He goes, I'm looking pretty good. 75 years. He goes, no drugs, no alcohol, and no fat pussies. That shit'll make you old quick. Fat pussies.
And meanwhile, he's talking to a 10-year-old or something, right?
I have no idea how old it was, but it was hysterical.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, he just he's no filter Ted, which is he's racist.
Whatever.
He's homophobic. He's shut up.
Yeah, just shut it.
He's Ted Nugent.
Mm-hmm.
What he does. So good show.
That's cool.
Very quick paced show. Sounded as good as ever. Just put on a fast paced show, played a majority, if not all of the hits, and fun show.
Well, that's fun.
I was glad I went. So, this is supposedly his last go around. So his Adios Mofo tour. So
you saw the final run of Uncle Ted.
Yeah, supposedly. So Frank, invited Taylor and I to the back, and I met Frank's publicist.
Okay.
And
Ted's publicist.
Yeah, Ted. When I say Frank's publicist,
yeah.
Ted's publicist, and I met her, and Frank introduced me, and he says, he's never had Ted on his show, and he's been doing his show for 28 years. Why isn't he able to get Ted on the show?
Right.
And she says, well, Frank, if Frank vouches for you, and you've been doing it this long, and of course I pulled up a clip of our show to show her that we were legit and everything.
Sure.
And she was just like, all right, here's my email. And she goes, oh, by the way, I got to get a picture with you Dog the Bounty Hunter. So she took a picture with me. So I will reach out, and perhaps we might get the one and only Ted Nugent on the show.
Well, that would be fun.
Yeah. So I've made a connection with the direct connection with the lady who's responsible for scheduling his interviews.
Well, that'd be great.
So, that's one get we've never had.
Did you get to meet Ted or no?
No, he's one of those guys. As soon as the thing's over, no, he doesn't stand around or nothing.
Ted Nugent has left the building.
Basically, yeah. I guess, he has a couple of places, I guess he lives mostly in Texas, but he still has his place over in Jackson, Michigan.
Okay.
Which is about 200 miles away from, St. Charles.
Sure.
So I guess he did a show at St. Charles Sunday night, and then he flew home in his plane.
Right.
I guess he has a plane, and then
sure.
I guess because Monday was a lot of storms in the area, and I guess he got to the venue like literally 5 minutes before he had to go on, due to the weather.
Yeah.
But as soon as the show was over, he was gone. Just that fast.
Yeah, just boom.
Yep.
Had the plane literally waiting on top of the building for him.
Pretty much. Yeah, he was vamoose.
He's like, fuck this. I ain't shaking no hands. I'm out of here.
Yep, basically it. So no, I did not get to meet Ted. He was nowhere to be seen.
Well, I guess if we get him on the show, we can say, hey, Ted, and then sit back for an hour.
Well, if and when we get Ted on the show, I will certainly compare some guns with him.
There you go.
So
I'll just sit back because I don't know if you've watched any Ted Nugent interviews, but there's not a whole lot of questions being asked.
No, Ted does all the talking.
Yeah. And literally he comes in agenda ready and just
right, of course.
Fine with me. Still be in the little frame here somewhere. That's good enough.
Getting Ted.
That's right.
So we'll see when we can make that happen, but it was a cool show. I appreciate Frank for hooking me up. Appreciate Linda from Ted's camp for making arrangements to get Ted on the show, and all that kind of stuff. So is that Jackal approved? Is having Ted on the show, is that Jackal approved?
Well, only if he talks about covering Blackmore's Night songs.
Because I wouldn't want to have Ted on the show if Jackal doesn't like it.
Yeah, well, that's important.
Yeah, it is important because I set the agenda based on what everybody likes.
That's right. Well, Jim says, "Fuck yeah, that's approved."
Oh, that's approved. Okay, thank goodness.
As long as Jim agrees.
I was worried. I was on the way home, taking Taylor home, and I was just like, I'm going to get Ted on the show, but I'm not sure what Jack will think about that.
Yeah. Well, that's all right, because somewhere in here, I'm looking back for it. Here you go. The complaints, of course. Why didn't Neeley take Jim's call during the pre-segment?
I wasn't aware he was calling.
You ruined the segment by not having Jim on.
Ruined it.
Not having Jim's precious take on the show.
It must have been ruined. Totally ruined. So dumb.
So that's
you're not running the show properly, Neeley.
Yeah, man.
You're not running it right. It would have been so much better if I was producing the show.
Yeah, that's right.
I think about that all the time. It's like between you and I, with what you do on your end and what I do on my end, we don't have interns, we don't have producers, we don't have people, working the controls.
Yeah, like, at any given time, like right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs open. And I'm bouncing between all of them, trying to see messages and get messages on the screen.
Yeah, and I'm working 2 screens here. I have a screen over here, and I've got a screen over here.
And the phone.
I got double screens. I got the phone. I'm running all the audio.
You're running multiple computers.
That's what I'm saying. I'm running a server. I'm running this. I'm running 3 computers right now.
Yeah.
3 separate computers right now.
That's what I'm saying, but we're not doing good enough.
I mean, it takes a lot to power up this goddamn show.
Hell yeah. Takes a lot. You guys think we're just mindless dicks, but it does take some thought.
That's so funny. I love it. I love it too. It's easy, man. Anyone could do it, man.
Yeah, it's just simple.
I mean, this mic alone, this mic alone costs $450.
Wow.
Just the mic.
Even mine didn't cost that much.
Well, I know, but this is a true broadcast mic, though.
Well, so this is a Shure.
Well, it's a Shure. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying this is a studio. This is a broadcast mic. That's what,
Sure.
You've seen these mics before.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
These Electro Voices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I've had it since I started doing the show since we started doing the internet thing back in 03. So this mic is 20 years old already.
Yeah. You take better care of them than me. I go through a mic.
I do.
How many mics have I been through since we started this back in 2004 or whatever? 10?
Something like that.
I go through because I'm always grabbing them.
Right.
I always grab them and move them around and whatever. So
I've sent you stuff with your mic booms and all that shit.
Mm-hmm. I know, but I still it's habit. It's really I try to be better at not grabbing this one as much, but I still do. So not quite as much, but it's just the habit of doing this fucking show.
Yeah, that's why I appreciate what Anthony Cumia did when he did the Compound Media and setting up his whole setup, because I identify his equipment that I see setting up and go, oh, he spent some money on that.
Sure.
Exactly. So, I know we got a guest coming up here shortly. Yeah. So we're going to have to wrap this up. But I was watching some Compound Media with Gavin.
Yeah.
And they were having some discussion about something or another. And all of a sudden, Gavin just turns and he starts screaming, "If you're going to sit there and talk, get the fuck out of here." So he goes, this is what happens. You get people who want to come in here and watch a show live, and then they're over there.
Yeah.
Go the fuck outside. Don't over here talking. This is a live show. I mean, he was just pissed.
Yeah, I'll bet. Because it's annoying when people are interrupting your shit.
He goes, go to the bathroom and talk. Go step outside and talk. Don't do it over here. I can hear every goddamn word you're saying. So shut the fuck up.
Right. It's funny.
It's just like, he's over there losing his mind.
That is hilarious.
That is funny. All right. Well, we got a guest coming up. James Rivera of Hellstar fame and Seven Witches fame. And he was with Thorpe.
Vicious Rumors.
Vicious Rumors. I couldn't think of it, but thank you. So James has been around a bit. I've hung out with James on a few occasions. I hung out with him during his Hellstar days, and a little bit with when he was with our good friend Jack Frost and Seven Witches.
Right.
And very cool guy. And we're gonna talk to James here in a few minutes.
Yeah, he has a new record. The James, what is it? James Rivera's Metal New Wave or something like that.
It's quite the handle on this record here. What is it called? It's called James Rivera's Metal Wave.
Yeah.
New Wave. What is this called? New Wave.
New Wave covers of.
Yeah. New Wave gone metal.
Yeah, I've listened to it. It's not necessarily my speed. But we'll talk to him about it because, you know, my real question is why? And not even in the negative way, but more in the, you know, he's coming off 2 great records.
Yeah, well, this reminds me of what George Lynch and Jeff Pilson did. Didn't they do the pop wave covers and stuff?
Speaking of that, we will get into some of that later. They just put out a 2nd edition of Heavy Hitters on Friday.
That's what I'm saying.
And ooh. Ooh. We'll get into that a little later. I actually have that on the list.
All right. Fair enough. So how many songs are we playing?
Just play like one, really. I mean, we're supposed to come on right at 10, so
so we got 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we'll play one song and we'll come back.
Do you have a song off this?
Play Shout.
Okay. Is this the
Tears for Fears?
Huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Let it all out.
Wow. All right. Let me see here. Where is it? Rain, Pet Cemetery, Kill It. I don't see it.
What? It's there.
Is it?
It's got to be there.
Don't see it. I see Rain, Pet Cemetery, Killing Moon, Bela Lugosi's Dead, Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Go with that one.
That's them. I don't think Shout's on here. I think
maybe it's that. I don't know.
You're getting the 2 mixed up.
Well, it could be somebody. Maybe I'm confusing with Disturbed. I don't know.
Everybody wants to rule
the world.
All right. Well, we're going to play James Rivera doing a cover of Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and we'll talk to James. So here it is. It's James Rivera with Everyone Wants to Rule the World exclusively here
on your classic metal show.